A Tarrant County woman sentenced to 5 years in prison for voting while on felony probation.
My mom told me, go vote. Like, this is the last day, go vote. And I was like, okay, Mom, I'll go when I get off work.
55-year-old Terry Road is charged with first-degree election misconduct.
It's time for another installment in my Tale of Two Americas series, where I compare the treatment of two people by the justice system and try not to pull out my blonde/ginger locks, well, you can decide which, with frustration. On the one hand, we have Crystal Mason. Mason voted in the 2016 election while on probation for a prior tax crime. She tried to cast a provisional vote at her church after she heard that her name couldn't be found on the voter roll. And the vote she submitted never actually counted. Nobody told her she wasn't permitted to vote, not even her parole officer nor the judge. Yet as a result, Mason was sentenced to 5 years in prison and recently lost her bid for a new trial. 5 more years in jail for voting while unaware she wasn't supposed to. And of course, voting while black and unaware. And then on the other hand, we have Terry Lynn Rote, a woman from Iowa who was convicted of voting for Donald Trump twice in the 2016 election. Rote's reasoning was not that she was unaware or did it by accident, it was that she believed Trump's claims that the election was rigged and voted twice out of concern that one of her votes could be changed to Hillary Clinton.
One vote for McCain. Thank you.
No, I want to vote for Obama.
2 votes for McCain.
One of those votes for McCain. This machine is rigged.
And for her punishment, Rote was sentenced to 2 years probation and a $750 fine, with the judge also adding that the felony will be erased from her record after she pays her fine and finishes probation. Now here's the thing, before those who deny that race is ever an issue flood to the comments with, but it's different states, she had a prior offense, the law is the law. Just before you pop a vein trying to pretend race has nothing to do with the treatment of people of color in the judicial system, let me share with you some information. According to the US Sentencing Commission, on average, black people receive sentences 19.1% longer than whites for the same crime. And blacks are also 75% more likely to face a charge with a minimum mandatory sentence than whites. And if you're ready to come back at me locked and loaded with the Ben Shapiro talking point of blacks commit the majority of the crime, African Americans represent only 13% of the population, but a majority of the innocent defendants who are wrongfully convicted of crimes and later exonerated. They're also more than 7 times more likely to be wrongfully convicted of violent crimes than whites, and 12 times more likely to be convicted of non-violent drug crimes. If you've watched any of my videos, I have repeatedly outlined these disparities and how blacks are less likely to receive the kid gloves treatment by the justice system, from direct handling with police to their sentencing. And if you're still not sold, let's stick with Texas, shall we? How about the fact that the very same state that sentenced Crystal Mason to 5 years for voting illegally sentenced a sitting judge to probation after he was found guilty of tampering with voter ballots. But that's not the same, right? Because I mean, let's just look at Crystal's case from a purely logical standpoint. If you've just gotten out of jail and were fully aware of the laws on voter restrictions, why would you willfully cast a vote? I mean, come on people. But Crystal's confusion reflects another broader issue on voter laws. Over 6 million Americans cannot vote because of parole restrictions. Voting rights for those who have served time vary depending on the state. Like Vermont, it allows murderers who have been released to vote, while citizens of Mississippi who commit perjury are barred from ever voting again. Listen, it's easy. If you're willing to open your eyes to the racial disparity, this is cut and dry. A black woman is crucified for making a mistake she never knew was illegal, while a white woman and a white man are given a slap on the wrist for willfully committing the same act of fraud. And unless we can get Kim K on this case, Crystal, like countless others in America, will remain anchored to the prison system. We have to do better. Follow me on Instagram at Francis M. Maxwell, and on Twitter also at Francis M. Maxwell. As always, like and share the video. You can get the TYT app here. Continue to resist.